What's up everybody? It's Amy here from Amy's Art Alchemy. Welcome back to my channel, the place to go to for tips, tricks, tutorials, and all things art related. So today I have a different type of project that I want to show you guys. I have should I tell you or should I just let you watch? I am going to show you how I created a chandelier out of a old lampshade and some old chippy paintbrushes. So I hope you stay tuned and I hope you get inspired. Okay everybody, I'm back. I'm extremely inspired by my paintbrushes and I have been so excited to start this project. So first let me give you an idea of kind of what I've got here and what I've got visioned for this project. I am not very good at taking care of my paintbrushes. I tend to leave paint on them and I love them so much, and so I have a hard time even getting rid of them even when they're ruined. So therefore I have quite the extensive paintbrush collection, but I still think there's so much beauty in the old chipped paint covered paintbrushes that I just hang on to them. So with these brushes in particular, I decided I wanted a little bit more rust on them. So I added a rust dye when it was a hot sunny day and added a little bit more rust to the paintbrushes so you can get a closer look at that. So I will have a tutorial on that coming up very soon as well if you're unsure how to create a rust dye. So here I have several paintbrushes. I probably will not use them all, but I definitely have other projects in mind for them if I do not use them all. So I have paintbrushes. I have an old lampshade. I went to Goodwill. As you know, I am a thrift shopper. I love rummaging through thrift stores. And I saw this beautiful lampshade. And it was $3, I believe. It wasn't much. Maybe $4 because it had detail. Usually they're like $2 or $3, but this one is really pretty, so I think they marked it up to maybe $4. But I saw this and there was a couple of things that drew me to this. First was its beautiful textiles. I love it. I love working with textiles and I'm so inspired by them. So I thought, I really don't need a lampshade. I have plenty of lighting in my art studio and in my house. But I wanted to cut this up and use this in some art projects, maybe an art journal or different things. So the lampshade came home with me. Knew right away that I wanted to cut it up and do something with it. That's when I decided, after looking at my paintbrushes, I'm going to use the frame of the lampshade for this project. So I am going to be getting much use out of this beautiful lampshade. It will not be used as a lampshade anymore, but it will have multiple purposes. It has these beautiful bead tassels on it that I can make charms for my junk journals or altered books or bookmarks, anything that I can do with these. So I'm going to be saving every single piece of this and repurposing it and just giving it a whole new life. So just because something is used for one thing does not mean that it can't be used for something else. So I encourage you to keep your eyes open for beautiful things that you can create and alter into something new. So I have a lampshade, an assortment of old paintbrushes, different sizes. They are, let's see, 3-inch, maybe ½ inch, 1 inch, 2 inch, 1.5 inch. I'm not really sure. Bunch of different sizes. Then I have off to the side here a whole bunch of different laces. As I mentioned, I love textiles, so I have a cabinet full of laces. So I have a whole bunch of different laces to pull from. That I have just scraps that I just love to collect, as well as some coffee dyed and stained fabrics that I did. Now this, you probably wouldn't have guessed it unless you get a closer look at it. This is actually stained gauze. I love the texture in stained gauze and there's so much you can do with this. I have tons and tons of this that I dyed at once because I have a lot of projects coming up that I'm wanting to use this for. So if I don't use it for this project, it will be used in another one. This is another form of like ace wrap that I have. It's another type of gauze. So it's just a different type. It doesn't have the holes in it. You figure being a nurse, I would know the correct terminology, but it doesn't have the holes in it. It's not as see-through. So I have this type and this type. And then I also, with that same batch of dye, dyed some other fabric that I had. So it's beautiful. So I have all these dyed pieces, and then I have some cream colored and some white and different shades of creams and different laces that I want to use. And then I also have this big piece of fabric, and this I also got at the thrift store, and I used it whenever I laid my paintbrushes down for my rust staining. So I got the effect from there on to my fabric. So I'm not sure what exactly will go into this project, but I know for sure it will all get used eventually in another project. And then the last thing you're going to need for this is a pair of scissors. So I'm making this up as I go. It's just something I had envisioned, and I am hoping that it turns out exactly the way I want. So we're just gonna, it's kind of a craft with me. So if you have these things or you just want to refer back to this, I encourage you to give it a go. So first thing I'm gonna do is, oh, sorry, my chair is gonna fall out from under me. Cut the material off of this lampshade. I'm gonna try to be a little more careful. It doesn't look like it. Getting started, it's kind of thick, different layers. To be a little more careful so I can repurpose this fabric. If you have a plain lampshade, obviously, and you do not want to reuse it, which I encourage you, even if it's not this pretty, there are just the different feel of the fabric on the lampshades, because you know the light has to go through. It really does give some nice projects. So it doesn't have to be fancy. So I encourage you to check out your local thrift store, or if there's a lamp shade that you're not using, and give this a go. I also thought of this project with maybe an old bicycle rim. My kids have an old bike that they are no longer using, and I am all about giving to Goodwill as I am buying from Goodwill and thrift stores. However, this bike, it was completely worn. It could not be used. So I do have some, I think I'm going to cut this by layer. I do have some old rims, I guess is what you would call it. Is it rims? I don't know. That goes around on the inside of the bike. Oh my gosh, now I sound like an idiot. You know what I'm talking about, where the spokes and stuff are at. So you could also use that for this. I decided to save those for a project I'm wanting to do in my garden this spring or this summer. So I went for the lampshade. But this will also work well for that. And you can use any type of thing. You don't have to use, another idea that you could do with this is maybe some wooden embroidery hoops, or really anything that can give shape. So, okay, so as I'm cutting this first beautiful lace layer off, I didn't realize it. Look at the layer underneath. Man, I almost, to be honest with you, think that it's just as pretty as this. So I'm excited I'm cutting it separate, because this is going to make for an absolute beautiful journal or textile piece later. And then I can refer back to this lampshade and show you where it came from. So I'm excited about that. So almost got this lace cut off. This is probably going to be a long video since it's a process video, which is not like any of the videos I posted thus far. So if it ends up rolling into multiple videos, I'll just put part 1, part 2. So I'm going to set this aside and save it for another project down the road. Now we have this beautiful piece. Okay, so there's another piece here. So we have this layer and then this silk layer. So can use every single bit of this in a project. So I'm going to let's see, go ahead and cut this layer off as well. And this one. See if I can cut these together to kind of speed up this process a little bit. Maybe. Nope, because it doesn't go around the wires. So if you end up hearing a weird scratching noise in the background, I have 2 of my little dogs in my art studio with me, and they just are always begging for my attention. So hopefully they will cooperate for this video. But if you hear something, that is what it is, not to worry. They get the love they need, I promise. Turn this around. I will probably go ahead and speed through this process so you don't have to watch me cut it off. All right, goodness. Most lampshades don't have that many layers, so it shouldn't really take as long. So now I'm left with this frame, a little bit of trim around the edges, and I'm also going to cut these off. And I'm going to try to cut higher on them. That way it keeps all the beads together. If that doesn't happen, it's not a problem. I can always put them back together. So let me see if I can get these off real quick. Okay, I don't really have the patience to try to get that off without the beads coming undone. So what I'm going to do is just snip it right here and set these beads aside, and I can restring them later. Because I just don't really have the patience to untie little knots. So let me cut the other 4 off. They will be used for sure. I have quite a big bead collection. Back in the day, I've dabbled in all kinds of arts and crafts, and I have done my share of jewelry making. So I will just add these to my bead collection and keep these separate, I think. Add it to my collection, but keep them separated to kind of keep the same scheme going together so I can show what it all came from, the fabric and the beads. So now that I have all 4 off, I'm sure I dropped a couple beads in here, but I will find them. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up just a little bit more. I'm not too worried about all of it because I want a shabby type feel, and it's mostly going to be covered anyway. Okay, so I think that's okay. What I'm going to start with first is covering the top and the bottom layer off. So I'm not sure if I want to use, I think I want to use a mixture of lace and the gauze, because I think I want to do the same thing whenever I go to hang the brushes. So, pulling from my big huge stash over here. This was also saved from, at one point in my art studio, I took a whole bunch of lace from different colors. I kind of had a color scheme going, a vintage color scheme going. I had whites, creams, different shades of light blues and grays. and I tied it in knots like this, and I made my own shabby type curtain in my art studio. So that's a really good idea too. Just put a whole bunch of them. It doesn't have to all be lace. You can also use a sheet. So I may look back and see if I have a picture of it. I think at one point I took a picture of it because I had it for quite a while, about a year. So, and I'll try to link that below. But you just tie it and then tie it to the top of a curtain rod, and it looks really pretty. I'm sure you've seen those before. So, okay. So I have it in already these weird knots, which I'm just gonna roll with it and go from there, because I want it to be an easy project and still look cute. So what I'm going to do is just kind of loosely wrap around the frame of this. It's okay if a little of the black peeks through, because the spot that I plan on hanging this, I think it will stand out really, really good. I'm hoping. Okay, so when I get to the end here, what I'm going to do is, let's see, I think I'm just going to tie on another piece. Why not, right? Tie on another piece. And keep wrapping. Well, that one's kind of long. I don't want the knot sticking up though. I think I want it sticking down. So let's see, you can do it loose to get the most out of your lace, because you don't really need it wrapped thick, if that makes sense. You can spread it out. And these are uneven strips. That was the beauty about that curtain that I created too. It didn't have to be perfect. And I also had a friend who loved it so much that we ended up doing one for her daughter. We just changed the colors. We went thrift shopping and found some old sheets and stuff that had the color of her room. Tish, if you're watching this, I hope you remember what we did to Megan's room. I thought it was super cute. You may have to send me a picture of that if you have a picture of that as well. So, okay. Then I think I am going to go ahead and, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap the frame going down. So again, you can do it loose because it not only makes the most of your material, but we don't really need it tight. Now again, I'm making this up as I go, so if you decide to make one yourself, you can always change it. The instructions are not set in stone. Okay, so I went down. This is still a big long piece, so I'm going to just come back up with it here. There's no point in, I'm all about making it work smarter, not harder, right? Ha, funny I say that. Sometimes I make things super difficult. I have several friends, and my husband can attest for that. Some things should be so simple and I make them hard. And then other things I'm like, yeah, we can do this with it. Why make it hard? So in this case, work smarter, not harder, right? So I'm not even going to tie this one off. I'm going brave. Getting brave. Yeah, no, I'm not so brave. I'm going to go ahead and make a knot. I just thought I was going to be brave. Make a knot, add another piece. So I hope you're making the most of this quarantine time and doing lots of creating and art projects. I know over on my Instagram, if you are not following it, it's at Amy's_art_alchemy. I'll put the link below. I have a couple projects and things going on there. I currently have a April prompt challenge going on right now, and that is what led me to this idea. April 1st, the prompt was paintbrushes. And the goal of it is to just take a picture of your art supplies and be inspired by it. And there's a certain hashtag that you can use. The hashtag is A3 Art Supplies Challenge. And everybody is taking a picture of their supplies from that day's prompt and then using that hashtag and then getting inspired by not only their art supplies but others as well. I know looking at my art supplies inspires me, so I thought inspire and be inspired, right? So I created that challenge, and it's fun to see how many people, today is the first day of it, have joined along. So if you're interested, I encourage you to check that out. It's obviously that's going on for the month of April, but you can join at any time, and really you can, you could do it at any time. So, and then once you have your pictures at the end of the month, you have all these beautiful pictures of your art supplies that you can then go and journal about in your art journal. So multiple use from it. There's several things you can do with them. So I'm excited. And then it's not a problem if you don't have every art supply on there. I have quite a list of art supplies just because it's truly my passion, and I have been collecting for years and years and years. I like to make my own supplies, and I kind of tend to hoard them. So if you don't have a certain supplies, you can always feel free to find an image off the internet of that art supply and post a picture of that. So it's a really easy challenge because there's nothing you have to do other than post a picture and get inspired. So hopefully you check that out and follow along. So that's one thing going on over on my Instagram that I would love for you to be a part of. I may have to cut this piece off. Another thing that I have going on over there, if you were looking for things to stay creative and stay connected to the world during this crazy time, is a artist trading card swap group. So it is a monthly reoccurring swap group. It's open to artists all over the world, so it's an international swap group, and it's really fun. There's more details that you can read about over on my Instagram. I have a bunch of highlights saved. The hashtag for that is A3ATC Swap Group. Currently, we have already over 110 artists from all over the world participating, and our group is growing every day. So it's really fun. You just create 5, send them in to me, and then I do all the work for you and swap them amongst all the artists. And then each month I mail you back 5 new ATCs from 5 different artists each time. So it's really fun to create and send your artwork to other people and inspire them, and then see the kind of things that they send. And I wanted it open international because I love to travel, and obviously, let's face it, that's hard to do. Not only financially, I have my spinal cord issue and suffer from pain and life, and on top of how expensive it is. So it's really cool to get a piece of art and make friends in different parts of the world. So I'm really excited about that. It's been a lot of fun. So many friendships and connections that have been made through that group, and I am just really enjoying it. So it may seem like a lot of extra work and time consuming on me since there's so many, and I'm doing the actual swapping and mailing them, and I guarantee that you will not receive from the same artist twice. So there's a lot of organizing that takes place in it, but it is so worth it to me. It brings me so much joy, so it's worth that little bit of extra work on my part. So, all right, kind of got carried off, but why not talk while I'm wrapping this, right? So many things you can say when you're wrapping a lampshade. Feel free to fast forward past that part if you're not interested in any of that. It will not hurt my feelings at all. Okay, so I got just a little bit left here. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do it here. I love how this is turning out already. It's already giving a shabby chic feel to it. I always feel weird saying that, shabby chic. I don't know. Like, I think I'm saying it right, but it just sounds weird coming off my tongue for some reason. So I'm not worried about all the little extra pieces hanging because I kind of want that feel for it. Feel of it, I guess I should say. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here, and I think what I'm going to do is just tie this off with a knot here. I don't know if you can hear the birds in the background, but man, they sure are pretty. It's a little chilly out where I'm at today. Yesterday was beautiful. I was hoping today would be a beautiful day, but hey, we're still here. I'm healthy. My family's healthy, so I am not going to complain, and I am able to move today. So, okay, I got 2 more rows here. I thought I only had 1, but let's wrap this up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this part so that I can keep this video a little bit shorter. If it ends up already rolling into part 2, we'll just pick up where I left off. You know, my plan was mixing these, and I got kind of carried away with this lace. So we will just add that in the next part because I definitely think I want some of that in there. I will use this in a tag, so no piece gets left unused, that's for sure. I am all about saving my scraps, which I may give y'all a tour of my art studio. If you're interested in seeing a tour of my art studio, let me know. Leave a comment below and let me know. I've contemplating it, but I am very organized when it comes to a lot of things, like my groups and things that I am like in charge of and projects and things. But when I am actually creating, I'm not gonna lie, I tend to be kind of a messy artist, but I embrace it and I enjoy it, so that's all that matters, right? And I have a room that I can just close off the doors to, which I am so blessed that my husband has given me a room all to myself for this. Okay, so now that I have this done, I'm going to move on to the brushes. So if this ends up rolling into the second video, that's okay. So I'm going to sit down now because my back's starting to hurt. Okay, here I think what I'm going to do is cut this into tiny strips so it makes it easier to tie. So I am actually going to save you the time of me cutting some skinnier strips. Pause this and I'll be right back. Okay, so now that I have several different pieces cut up, what we're going to do is feed them through the holes of the paintbrush. So if it's hard to get it through there, you can always, let's see, grab this pokey paper piercer thing. Okay, maybe that's not a smart object to grab. Maybe a crochet hook or a pencil would probably be a better idea. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear my little Yorkie in the background. She is wanting my attention. So, okay, push it through that hole. And I did not do a very good job cutting that one. And just make a knot around it. Just like that. So you just have a paintbrush on a piece of, now I used lace and things like that, but you can also use yarn or other things. So just get creative with what you have. I was just trying to give it a textile effect since I love textiles so much, just to give it a different effect. So the pieces that I have, I am not precise with it. I did not measure. I may have to go and trim some off, but the way I see it is I don't measure. If you want perfect, go buy it in the store, because I'm all about handmade here. So I also decided to end up using a couple pieces of that fabric that I had under when I rust stained my paintbrushes. So I'm going to show you. I know this is not new, but some of you may not know. I also did this with the curtain I was telling you about. If you make just a little cut and just zip it like this, it gives you such a prettier edge. I mean, if you're going for that look. So again, that's nothing new. Some people are probably like, why are you mentioning that? But some people may not know. So this channel is all about just sharing what I do, and if it inspires you, great. If you learn something, great. If not, I hope you just enjoy watching. So I think now with this, since it doesn't stretch, I'm going to try to be a little more exact on measurements. I say exact, that's actually funny. Nothing's exact, but not quite as long, I guess I should say, because Maggie, I hear you. Wait just a minute, baby. Wait just a minute. And push that through. And we have another one. So I am going to go through and put more paintbrushes tied up like this. And I'll be right back. Also may have to stop and give my dog a little bit of attention so she will let me get through the video. So I'm going to pause this and I'll be right back. So these are my ornery girls that you hear in the background sometimes whenever I'm making videos. This is Maggie. She's 3 pounds and she thinks she's like 50. So she just needed some attention and wanted to see what was going on. And this is Maisie. So they are my little art studio buddies. They hang out with me all the time back here. So if you ever hear any scratching and it doesn't sound like my actual children in the background, these are the culprits. So, all right, girls, got to go up so I can finish. All right, so now back to the project. Okay, so now I have a whole bunch of paintbrushes on different pieces of material. I use the lace, this fabric, the type gauze, and what we're going to do now is I think I'm going to start with the top layer. I think that would be the easiest. And I am just going to tie these around. I'm making this up as I go, so hopefully it turns out cute. I think I need to scoot my camera back just a little bit so you can see. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and tie these on the top first. And I'm just going to kind of do it sporadically at first and then fill in where it's needed. Again, I'm not really worrying about the length of these too much. The longer pieces I am going to use for the bottom, so I am trying to grab shorter ones and some of the smaller brushes for the top. I went ahead and put all the paintbrushes on strings just for the process of making the video go a little smoother. I don't know if I'll end up using them all for this project, but it's not a big deal because it's just a simple tie around, and I can go and take it off and use it in other projects. So I'm just going around, alternating brushes and the different types of trim and filling it around. So I will fast forward through this part. So you don't have to sit here and watch me tie all these brushes around, because that's kind of boring. So I hope you guys are doing something creative today, making the most of it. I would love to hear what kind of projects you're doing, and leave me a comment below. I'd love to know what other type of things other people are working on, or, you know, what's going on. So I do read all my comments. Sometimes I do not get back to them right away, but I do always respond to my comments, and I love interacting with you guys. So I appreciate you being here. So leave a comment and chat and let me know what you're up to. Okay, so let me fast forward through these. Okay, so I got several brushes around the top part. I may go back and add later. I just kind of am starting with this to see how it goes. So for the bottom part, it may be easier if this was hung up and done. So I'm going to do a couple here, and then I may hang it up and be right back and show you what it looks like, because it's kind of easier to hang up and tie on the bottom so I can get the distancing. So okay, so this is not the best view or setup here, but I kind of wanted to show you how it was going. For now, I just tied it to my cabinet that I have right here. I actually got this at a thrift store too, imagine that. And it houses all of my lace and sewing accessories. So I just tied it up here just so I can have it hanging off something, so I can go and hang the brushes off of it easier to try to get it a little more even. I'm definitely going to end up using all the brushes, and honestly, I think I'm going to need more. So we are going to continue to fill them up. I think I got 10 more brushes. So I was just going to show you how I'm tying them on. Basically the same, I just have it hanging up. So I'm just going through and alternating this. I did the top first and picking random spots, and I'm not really too concerned about the exact length of these because I wanted them different. And also what I did is off the bar that goes across to the side, I went ahead and hung a couple off those just to help try to fill that center a little bit. So I definitely think this is something I'm going to be adding to over time. If I were to do this again or make suggestions to somebody else, maybe use a smaller lampshade, or make sure you have lots of paintbrushes. So I think it's still going to be okay, because I think what I also may do, this is a smaller paintbrush, so I think I want to do it off the top. I think what I may also do is fill in some of the spots with just strips of fabric and lace, just to kind of give it a more full look, but we'll see when we get there. I don't want it all that way because I really wanted mainly paintbrushes, but you know, we go with what we work with. I can always put the strips of fabric now, and then as I gather more paintbrushes, add to it. So it'll just be a ongoing thing. I mean, I save my brushes anyway, so. All right, I am down to 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I guess I had more than 10 while ago. Either that or I'm just talking and not paying attention to how many I put on. But so again, I'm not really paying much attention to the length, and I'm not even trimming them off. I may go through and trim some of them off, but I kind of, right now, I'm liking the shabby look of leaving the edges, so we'll see when it's all said and done with. I may not even like it when it's all said and done with and take it all apart. That's the beauty of art. I mean, it's can always be redone, right? It's like canvas. If you don't like how your canvas is turning out, put a layer of gesso on it. No big deal. Cover it up. Use it as an underlayer. I do that all the time. Just use it as an underlayer, and it just helps give more dimension. So, I mean, honestly, there's never really any truly mistakes in art. It sounds funny me saying that because I always say the opposite, but you know, that's how it's supposed to say. There's no mistake, but you know, sometimes I get a little bit OCD, and yeah, we won't go there, but it can always be redone, reused. I mean, we are turning a lampshade into something totally different and hanging paintbrushes from fabric, so I mean, why not, right? Okay, so I'm down to 2. Let's see where I need. I am liking it. I am really liking it. Okay, I know for sure, I can tell, I want some longer ones hanging. Wait, I say for sure. No, I don't. This may only be pretty to me. It may not be pretty to anybody else. Well, but that's okay. It's in my art studio, right? It's whatever I think. You may look at this video and be like, yeah, no, that's not for me. Have fun with that. And then again, you may be inspired to make one on your own, so we'll see. I just thought it'd be fun to turn on the camera and show you what I was up to. All right, where do you belong? You belong here. Okay, so here is kind of what we got so far. I think, you hear those birds outside? Goodness. I think what I'm going to do is add just a couple strips of lace and fabric. I don't want to do too much. Oh, look, found another one. It's always fun. And I actually do have 2 more brushes saved, but I really have another project I want to use it on. So I'm not going to use it on this one. Plus it has a little bit of blue paint on it, even though that wouldn't hurt for this. I think the blue paint would just really stand out. And I want to use it for the other project. So, okay, so I'm going to fill in just a few of these empty holes, or spaces, I should say. It's not too bad. I mean, in my mind, I had it visioned being really full, but in time, I think it can get there, so. And if I end up not liking all these extra pieces hanging, I can take them off. But it'll make it really easy to go through and add paintbrushes later, so I think it'll be okay. You know, that piece that I took off of the lampshade may kind of look good in there too to add. What do you think? Nah. I do that all the time. Ask opinion and then just like, yeah, no, doesn't really matter. I don't like it. Okay, what did I do with my scissors? I have all these long pieces from where I used that, created that curtain. we are just going to, only thing about the lace is you can't rip it, but again, I'm not going for anything perfect because it's handmade, right? So no measuring, we're just gonna chop it like that. Fill in just a couple spots. Maybe I'll keep going with the bottom first. It's kind of like I had visioned in my mind and kind of not. Like I said, I kind of wanted it to be, actually, I know I wanted it to be a lot fuller. And I'm not really sure how many paintbrushes I used in this. I'm going to have to go back and count. Okay, that piece is going to bother me. It's crazy what bothers me and then what. I'm just like, hey, let's roll with it. Hope you can hear me okay. I've been contemplating on getting a little microphone, lapel microphone type thing for my videos, but I don't know. Sometimes I speak loud. I'm very hard of hearing, and when you're hard of hearing, sometimes you talk louder because you don't realize how loud you talk. But I'm also talking this way, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I don't normally talk this way when I'm recording, so you get the idea. You can always fast forward past this part too. Just figured I would chit chat while I fill in these empty spots. Let's see. I do think it's looking better the more I add. And all the little pieces of lace, like the little snippets, I use those in, well, I create snippet rolls for one, but I use those little bitty pieces sometimes just inspire me the most. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot that you can do with just a little piece of fabric just to give that extra texture and dimension to a piece. So I think that's why I like mixed media so much, is there's really no rules. You can just kind of make it up as you go. And add, my favorite thing is repurposing and using other packages. My family laughs at me all the time because I save a lot and we'll buy cereal or something and they know, don't you throw away that cereal box. Mom's gonna want to use that because it makes the great surface to paint over to give it that sturdy feel for a art journal page or a book. So it's kind of funny. You know the packages, the netting packages that like fruit, like oranges and stuff come in? That makes great texture. So I save those too. Oh, it's kind of funny sometimes. My sisters used to tease me a lot like, oh, I know what you're going to do with that. Or what? Why do you want to save that? And now they just know. That's kind of funny. And my kids and my husband the same. I love it. I love it. So when my kids were little, I used to do a craft with them on Thursdays. Of course, you know, as they got older, one of them doesn't enjoy it as much. Which is okay. We each do our own thing. I definitely don't want to force them to do something that they don't enjoy. I mean, they love doing things with me, so we do stuff together all the time. But, you know, as they get older, they're into their own things. But when they were little, we would always have a craft day and different projects. It's so much fun. So, one of my boys actually still loves arts and crafts very much. So I do not push it on him though, because I want it to be something that they enjoy. I mean, it's definitely nothing that, I don't sell anything. I just do it for fun. So I want it to be something that they always do for fun. Speaking of selling though, it's kind of funny. My son that I was just referring to, he did a science fair project over paint pouring. He is in the 6th grade now, and he did it in 4th grade. So I taught him all about paint pouring and how to create the cells and the different densities of paint and things like that, which I may do a video of that. I haven't done it. I started my YouTube channel after all that, so there's a lot of things I may go back and do some videos of. But anyway, I showed him that, and he knocked it out of the park. And when he took it to his science fair, he got first. And then he went to the college to compete, and he got first there in his category. And he actually had people wanting to buy his art, like adults wanting to buy his art. And he knew, he's like, well, I can make you one, but this one's my mom's. So I have those displayed in my art studio. It's extra special to me. So I had fun showing him that technique, and he had so much fun making it. And so hard to believe that was 2 years ago. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, let's see. This is kind of what we got so far. So this is what we have to work with so far. What do you guys think? Can you see it okay? I'll post some closer pictures of it. I think I'm liking it. I definitely, for sure, am going to want more paintbrushes added to it. But I'm not going to wait and hang it up in the meantime. I'm going to hang it up and add to it as I gather old paintbrushes. So let me hang it up where it's going to go, and I'll show you guys what it looks like from there. I may go back and add some more of the Tide Distress Gauze and Lace just to give it some more darker strands through and fill it up a little bit more. So let me do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay guys, so here is the finished project. Well, finished for now. I definitely know for sure that I'm going to add more paintbrushes. I was hoping you could see more of the brushes on top, and you really can't, but you can. Like, I know they're there, but I was hoping they would stand out a little bit more. I actually turned it around a little bit so you could see some of the brushes hanging down lower. I may have to move this button that I have on this shelf because it may kind of distract from it. I'm not really sure. So this is what it looks like. This is my paintbrush chandelier. So if I had some battery operated fairy lights, I may even go through and wrap that around there. So I don't know. May do that at some point. I ended up cutting off that extra lace just because it really took away from the paintbrushes. So once I have more paintbrushes, I think it will be filled in a lot nicer. But here it is so far. It's hard to believe I counted the paintbrushes. That is 44 paintbrushes. So I definitely think it would be really cool to add some more. Here's some different views of it. And it actually looks really cool underneath. Let's see if I can do this without making you dizzy. Isn't that cool? So here is my paintbrush chandelier. And I have it set up. Over here is my section of my art studio where I organized my artist trading card swap group, the A3 ATC swap group that I tell you about. So I have this whole station set up for that. And I have this little board over here on the side where I display some of the letters and things given to me that are so very special to me. I have a couple boards like that throughout my studio. So it's all very special to me. So while I'm showing you, here's also some blocks that I found. And A3 is just short for Amy's Art Alchemy. So I have it there. That looks really cool. I may have to move that button right there. And then this actual section is not finished. I have something planned to go right in the center of here. So here's also where I have organized the Happy Meal swaps that I'm working on, and I house just a few of my stamps and stuff there. So I have my Frida hanging there. If you missed a video where I talked about that, that was in one of my Thrifty Finds videos. Definitely go check that out. So then I have my little hashtag A3 up there, and this map, I absolutely love it. As I mentioned before, I love connecting with artists around the world, and I need to go through and update it because now there's over 100 artists that are in our group. So I like to go through. I have it on a cork board so it doesn't damage our walls, but I go through and mark all of the places that I have art going to and from. I just think it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Some of them are in the ATC swap group. Most of them are. Some of them are just ones that I did Happy Meal swaps with. But this is a very, very, very special and very important part of my art studio where I keep things organized. So I have a whole special setup going on over here that it's actually not all here because I'm currently working on a swap, but that's for another video. But here is the finished product. So let me know what you guys think. I do think it'll look better once I add more brushes, but I would like to hear your opinion. Is it something that kind of junks it up, or does it give it more of an artistic feel? So I do have a pretty good size art studio, so I mean it doesn't take much of it. Oh, now you're getting into my sorry ribbon stash. I've got quite a bit of that too. But there is another close-up shot of it. Well, that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's process video. It was something that was kind of spur on the moment. I was totally inspired by the art prompt list that I posted over on my Instagram. You can follow that below. It is a art challenge where you are to get inspired by your art supplies and by other people's art supplies. So the hashtag for it was A3 Art Supplies Challenge. I encourage you to check it out on Instagram and see what you can do with your extra art supplies laying around and see what kind of inspiration that you can gather from it. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If there's anything else that you would like to see in the future, be sure and let me know. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. I definitely am going to save some more paintbrushes to add to that project, as well as some future projects that I am just very excited to do. So I have 4 other ideas that I really want to use old paintbrushes for. So this art prop challenge has already just got me super inspired, and it's already day 1. So I hope it does the same for you. I hope to talk to you guys soon. Leave a comment. Let me know what you're up to, and I will talk to you later. Happy crafting.